Omar slumped into his worn leather recliner, the TV's flickering light casting shadows across his weary face. The clock on the wall ticked relentlessly, each second a reminder of another day's end. His daughter Layla had long since retreated to her room, leaving him alone with his thoughts and the persistent gnawing in his gut. Omar's fingers drummed restlessly on the armrest, his eyes darting between the TV and the darkened kitchen. He could almost hear the kitchen calling his name, promising comfort in the form of sugary cereals and salty snacks. "Not tonight," he whispered to himself, clenching his fists. "Not again." But the more he resisted, the louder the whispers became. "Cereal, cookies, chips. Just one handful, it'll take the edge off." Omar stood up, pacing the living room, his bare feet padding softly on the carpet. His heart raced, and a thin sheen of sweat formed on his brow. The kitchen loomed in the darkness, a siren song of temptation. Before he realized it, Omar found himself standing on the cool tile floor, staring at the open cupboard. Boxes of cereal, bags of pretzels, almond cookies, a jar of peanut butter, and cans of soda seemed to glow in the dim light. His hand reached out, almost of its own accord, fingers brushing against a package of almond cookies. The familiar script was ready to play. Grab everything. Eat fast. Silence the void inside. But as his hand closed around the package, a memory of Layla's concerned face flashed through his mind. "Maybe it's not food you're hungry for." Omar froze. What was he really feeling? He searched the emptiness in his chest, probing the ache that had become his constant companion. It wasn't hunger. It was something deeper, more insidious. His eyes drifted to the kitchen table, to the empty chair where his ex-wife used to sit during their family dinners. The truth hit him like a physical blow. He wasn't fighting food. He was fighting loneliness. The quiet house, the missing laughter, the weight of evenings that stretched endlessly before him. Loneliness, restlessness. That gnawing ache that always came when the world went quiet and he was left alone with his thoughts. Omar's hand trembled and the package of cookies fell to the floor with a soft thud. He stumbled backwards, leaning against the counter for support as the realization washed over him. How long had he been using food to fill the void left by his failed marriage? How many nights had he spent stuffing himself with empty calories instead of facing the real issue? He glanced at the clock, 2:03 a.m. In just a few hours, he'd have to drag himself out of bed, put on a brave face for Layla, and head to his IT job. The thought of facing another day, feeling bloated and ashamed, made his stomach churn. He closed the cupboard, then opened it again, then closed it again. This time, he didn't take a whole sleeve of cookies, just a handful. He ate them slower than usual, annoyed at himself for needing them, but oddly, relieved. When he put the rest back, the silence didn't feel like failure. It felt different. Back in bed, his stomach wasn't painfully full. He hadn't wiped out the kitchen. For the first time in years, he had stopped before it became out of control. Lying in the dark, Omar whispered, "If I can stop halfway, maybe one day I can stop before I start." His mind raced with possibilities. Maybe it was time to talk to someone who could help him understand why he kept falling into this destructive pattern. As the first light of dawn began to creep through the windows, Omar made a decision. He wouldn't solve this overnight, but he could take the first step. Tomorrow, he'll find someone. This episode begins to reveal the root cause behind Omar's midnight eating, loneliness, emptiness, emotions he doesn't know how to soothe. It also shows his first tiny breakthrough, naming the feeling instead of immediately acting on it. Episode 4 will introduce the first coaching insight and reveal Omar's origin story with food. If you enjoyed this video, tap the like button and subscribe so you won't miss the next episode.